Yeah.
That is perfect timing. Okay.
Oh God, yeah, that could have gone badly.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
No big
So,
deal.
but yeah, look. So, it always takes a few seconds for people. People always just come in the first couple of minutes anyway. Yeah, and then leave after they're like, "Oh, this is boring as fuck. I'm gone."
Yeah,
So,
why are these two idiots up there
yeah, it's
drinking
just like,
songs on Saturday?
but that's all it is. Like everyone that comes onto this knows that this is not going to be like really, really impactful. That this is just going to be the two of us just drinking.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Oh,
Yeah,
Jez
it's
is
something
here.
for everyone to do. Oh, hey, Jazz.
Jez, you better be drinking along.
Yeah.
So
This is what is it like? I had something on my brain just absolutely short circuited. I'm still running on hangover, so by the end of this, I should be good.
what's your hangover from?
Um,
Hello.
beer. Well,
No,
beer,
I
liquor,
understand. I understand that it was alcohol.
fermented things.
Hey, TJ. Also,
Well,
Geneva, backstage is wearing a Golgath.
hey, Katie.
Shirt. Hey, Katie. Hello, Richie. Oh, I think
You
the caps lock is broken.
Oh wow.
Oh,
The excitement. No, but you're definitely seeing this a couple seconds before me because you're saying it like, oh, and then it's like comes up, and I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah, I'm reading it at the side before it comes up.
Oh,
Anyhow,
Golgoth. Oh,
yeah, you were in the private chat.
technology. Yeah, yeah. To
Um,
request.
ooh, denied,
Ooh.
denied,
Oh.
Katie.
That's why it's a cantrip, you know? Just unlimited amounts of fire.
Yeah, it's like dancing lights. It's kind of like a rave. Just
It's like I don't know. There was a meme, and it was like stormtroopers or whatever, and it's like dance for me, and it's a stormtrooper shooting everywhere, and like one guy's just standing still, and he's like, I don't have to, because if I move, I'll probably die faster than if I just stand still. It's like, sure.
Two things. So Geneva asked a question: is there a drinking game the audience should be playing?
Oh.
The only thing I can think of is like whenever your accent changes from English to Canadian or Canadian to English.
Just finish your drink.
Just finish your drink, and like whenever I vape, they have to drink as well. So you'll be fucked.
Yeah. Well, every swear word, right? Or every time it like bursts into laughter, right? So it's just like make your own adventure kind of situation. Definitely, probably more of a beer situation if you're doing that. I would say we would all be dead in the end, but you could be reincarnated as a drinking monk. I don't know.
A drinking monk, a drunk.
A drunk. Fuck. Wow, that one.
I think you need to drink for that one.
Well done, yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Such a wordsmith. Such a wordsmith.
Oh, wow. Yeah, we got to the bottom of that. There's no chasing there anymore.
First taste of whiskey is always the best. Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking of doing that, and then I had an onion earlier today, and I don't know why, but acid reflux on onions is just like, I don't know, throwing a fucking brick down the fucking chimney of a porta-john while someone's in it. Have you ever done that?
No.
It's terrible. Don't.
I didn't know they had chimneys.
Yeah, well, the smell has to get out somehow. So that's why you're supposed to shut it, because the chimney carries the...
Sorry, you're saying chimney where it's clearly like a vent, and I'm imagining a fucking brick chimney on top of a porta-john being like, you know, smoke coming out, like, you know, signals being like,
homeless people just like, whew, yeah, it's nice and warm.
We've elected a new pope.
Oh, God. Just a guy comes out in a bed sheet, just
oh man. But
the Americans, they do burn their crap in oil barrels and with diesel, And then they were told, I think this is a recent thing, like the last couple of years, they were told, hey, you need to stop doing that because it's really highly carcinogenic. And they were like, what? Really? And they're like, yeah, you're huffing shit and diesel. What do you think was
Porta
going to
Pope is
happen?
funny. Porta Pope is funny.
Porta
I'll give you
Pope.
that, Geneva. I rarely ever give Geneva praise, but that was funny. Hey, Paul. Also,
Yeah.
hey, Damien. So
Huh.
I guess, dear, what was I going to say to you? Oh yeah, so
I don't know.
I on Thursday night, the Game Awards,
Mm-hmm.
we had a live streaming party at work at Larian, and we were
Awesome.
just like the whole way through. It was like, Jesus Christ, they're not giving us anything. Alan Wake is taking all these fucking awards. And then it was suddenly 3 in a row. It was like best multiplayer, Baldur's Gate 3, best like RPG, Baldur's Gate 3, best player voice, Baldur's Gate 3. And I was like, we're like, what the fuck is happening? and and then it was just like at 4 a.m., like everyone was screaming, champagne everywhere, and it was just like we got Game of the Year, which is amazing. But it meant we kept drinking until 9 a.m. And then like people that watched it from home came into work, and we were like drinking, being like, oh, maybe time to go back. And like manager was messaging me, being like, hey Brian, like like need you to get on this. And like, I'm just getting home now. And he's like, okay, someone else will be dealing with that. So, like, I cannot talk to any candidates today. But yeah. So
you could just be like, we're a fun company. Oh, fuck.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Also, please turn off your screen. It is burning my eyeballs.
Yes. But yeah, so I guess what I kind of want to do, like with this one, because I'm a little bit of out of practice with these first reads. So what I kind of want to do is make you talk more before I get into reading this. And I think the best thing to do is to like kind of ask you the origin point of this story, because like we've had conversations in the past. Like there was a spell where you weren't writing, words weren't happening, and it needed to be a very, very compelling story to kind of get you out of that space. So, and I believe that this is that story. So, would you mind maybe giving us a little bit more context on, the Four Horsemen, a little bit more about it, and like where did the ideation come from, or like was it a cinematic scene? What was it that kind of made this like kind of flow onto the pages?
I think the biggest one was actually like I was just kind of sitting down, and I think 10 Realms was coming to shiting with Chatfield.
Yeah. What a horrible, horrible thing to come up with. That is atrocious, Richie, and you should be ashamed. Also, you spelled shiting wrong.
Yeah, that was but the I think I was at the end of 10 Realms where I was working on the last 2 books, or like I'd actually be done. Oh god. But the thing was, I had these kinds of characters in my head, and it was just like 4 characters, and I knew that one was just like I had like kind of ideas of what they would look like, and then their mannerisms, and I just played through my head like a scene of it's kind of weird of them putting up an argument of Brian put that in the comments last night. Hold the fuck up. Wow.
Wow.
Well, I think we need to. Do we have that banner? Do we just
Geneva, I think you need to put up the banner because Richie's getting out of his little box.
Yeah. There we go. Put that back in there.
Or men's
anyway.
kittens? Oh, bastard.
Why? What did the kittens do to deserve this?
Fuck indeed. Fuck around and find out, Richie. Anyway, please go on, Michael.
So they had to actually kind of like pitch themselves of like why they wanted to exist in a way. Like there's a very meta situation, because I was like, all right, like you'd be interesting characters, but why work with you instead of other characters that are in my head? And it was just a thing of like the character, like Maya, especially because Maya's a pretty, should we say, spicy character, and she was just like, because we'd be a fucking fun time, and then the others just kind of went, Yeah. And I was like, ah, shit, like this would be a good laugh. And it was also the kind of adventure of it all, of like, with 10 Realms, we had so much building up in one place. And that was cool. It was really interesting to see how like Alva grew and how everything happened there. But with this, it was, let's just go on an adventure. Let's go see everything. Let's go. Basically, for me, it was play D&D as a party and just run with it. Especially in the kind of scale of, we don't have to be constrained, because sometimes like you do a certain kind of campaign and it feels constrained. And this was like, I do dice rolls, and it's like, let's just go see what the heck they're going to go do, because the characters are going to be so central to this that it doesn't matter what the world is, they'll adapt, overcome, and deal with it. So that was kind of, it was just the interest of like, it would be so cool to see their legends kind of come about, especially because we're going to start at the very beginning. Well, kind of for them. And then it was like, it also was the thing of, these characters had to have a previous life for them to be the people that they are now, and to be thrown together in this way. So a lot of it was actually, okay, I want to do this. How do I get to that point? And I had to backfill all of that information to get there. And I think the biggest thing that kind of held back the series was trying to do it justice, the characters and the setting, because they are like, whenever you have any character, you want them to shine, you want them to really come out, grip the reader, and the reader knows them instantly, gets really involved in them, and then they're just like, they're my friends on paper. And I think that's the exact same thing with us as writers, because we're working with them, but their lives are developing as we progress a storyline. And we really want to do them justice and the story justice in a way that people enjoy, and they keep coming back for more, because there's no better joy than going, hey, I've made something I want to share with you, and people are like, yes, please share that with me, instead of, God, get that the fuck out of my face, I don't know why you did this is terrible, like, please, like, take the porta pope away from us, we don't need him anymore, kind of situation. But yeah, so it took some time to do, especially after 10 Realms, because 10 Realms had a lot of, I kind of call it like lag time afterwards, of, I'd written so much and done so much in that series that it took a lot to actually move away from it. And
it's
then
a
start something
cleanse.
new.
You need to kind of like, I don't want to say it, like a cleanse is a nice way of saying a purge, but like,
Yeah.
you need to just kind of go in system agnostic and be like, oh yeah, like this is how this works in the 10 Realms, and you're like, no, I have other ideas and stories. Stop cannibalizing my idea.
Yeah, and it's the thing of like, when you're I applaud Jez for it, because he can write multiple series at the same time. I can't do that personally, and we've talked about this before, like those different mind spaces. People can do it. I can't personally, because I get so enwrapped into what I'm writing. Like sometimes someone had thrown out a section of Emerelia, and they're like, oh, I love this scene, and I was like rereading it, and I was like, wow, like when you're writing it, there's little details and little things that you put in that, when you like are like 5 books ahead, then you're just like, oh, I never even realized how much detail I put onto that. But that really brings it to the reader, and it like makes it wholly different.
And and that is a very, very rewarding experience when someone says, like, I love how you foreshadowed this with this. And I'm like, I did what now?
But yeah.
And look at it being like, when the fuck did I write that? And it's but like, yeah, it's a wonderful feeling. But to talk about the Four Horsemen, now this is just my curiosity and just a potential take on this, and feel free to correct me, but as you say about D&D, it kind of reminds me of a tabletop which was Seven Seas, and that was one where, rather than starting at level 1, you essentially start off as these incredible heroes, these like legends, already established legends in their own right, that start off with a much greater capability. Like, for example, when you say that, like there was, this was, you didn't feel the constraints, a lot of the time the constraints is the growth of power over time. Because like when you start as level 1, it's like, I cast fireball. It's like, you don't have that yet. It's like, and you don't have reactions. You don't have any of these things. And it's like, oh, I use shadow step. Like level 6, bitch. And it's like, it's like, oh, okay. But do you have it with the 4 horsemen that they are a little bit more powerful and established than other maybe starting protagonists?
Yes, but in an interesting way because they still have to fight for it. So basically, like their past life, they got reset and they are reborn in a way. And they're like, okay, so we have cores. The cores actually relate exactly to D&D and the leveling system, but just using it a bit different. Just because I wanted to do it in such a way that then people could go, hey, I really want to play this. Like we really saw that with 10 Realms. People were like, I really want to play this myself. I really love these places. So when this is kind of a caveat, but when I build a city, I build it as if I'm building a D&D manual for it. So I'll be like, the rulers of these people, here's your guards, here's like all of their basic economy and stuff. Here's a couple of quests that can go on, here's how they can chain. And then that stuff I've saved in a file because I just brainstorm it. And then I go later on, I'm like, okay, well, we could turn that into a D&D book or something. Just like give it as a manual to people, which is really cool, but it also brings those places like to life. Though sometimes they're not there for very long, which really sucks because then you're like, I just spent an hour or two making this, but yeah, we're gonna be here for like 10 pages.
Now, Richie has asked a great question, but I think you need to answer in the form of the Aladdin song.
Oh god, I have it. I have the tone in my head, but I don't remember the actual.
A whole new world.
A new world.
Yeah,
No, it is. Hey, David.
Damn it!
Yeah, no. You just want to hug him.
I just want to hug him. I already hugged someone wearing makeup, so and you can clearly see this here. It's not like I just like had a cream donut and just like missed my face. Because I don't miss when it comes to donuts.
Those need to be dealt with. A whole new world for all of this, but we were talking about something that I sidelined.
Yeah, cores, then the D&D manuals and things like that. And that you don't get to stay in those places for very long. And do you ever get tempted? Like, I know that you are, a lot of things are dice roll dependent, like quite a bit of it. Are you ever tempted to railroad back to something that you've really spent a long time ideating on?
I always like the thing is that I'll have like, okay, there's 3 choices, and I try not to ideate too far ahead.
Yeah.
Because one, that allows like the situation can change as the characters go, because Panster, then you're like, okay, we got to this point. Actually, this is a really cool option too. Then there's this option, and sometimes you get racked with indecision, and so that's when I'll do a dice roll on it. But I haven't really had to railroad anything. It's most of the things that I'm like, I can go a little further is just actually like, well, based on this will probably happen, or this will happen. And then I actually make like 3 kinds of variations of things that will occur.
And now this is like, I'm also a pantser, but I have a kind of a clear vision of where my stories are going and what are the main beats. And then it's essentially down to like, and the characterization is strong. So it's usually down to what way the characters guide me to that point. But when you incorporate dice rolls, do you ever sometimes feel disappointed that, like I feel, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes of that. If I was to do dice rolls to be like, this happens, like, I imagine that you could potentially see it as a creative challenge to kind of like throw yourself into outside of your comfort zone. But do you ever feel that maybe the structural integrity of the story itself might end up becoming skewed by going off in a random direction?
Yeah, that's a good question, but not really, because I know like what's like I have key goals that they work towards. And it's, the characters have these key goals. They're like, oh, we need to go do this, we need to go do that. And they'll be working towards that the entire time. So when I do the dice rolls, it'll deviate their path a little bit, but it adds in enough randomness. So it's not like, oh, you can see that this is going to be how it's going to go. It's like, yeah, and no, we're over here. And like it adds in those spontaneous randomness because then people can go, oh, that's interesting because that's not what I was expecting. It adds in more spice and flavor, I think, than kind of detracting. But because the characters are anyway always going and heading in their goal anyway, even if they get diverted, it's sometimes more fun because they really have to hammer down that goal is worthwhile to go and do for them to actually, well, we've actually gone over here, so we need to go back this direction. So like one is at the end of book 1, something happens and the plan changes in a big way. And so we'll see.
So is it a D20 or a D6?
I do D20 on nearly everything just because it's easier. Because then I'll be like, if I have like 2 options, then it's just like, if it's yes or no, then it's over 10 or under 10. And then I do like, a lot of times I'll actually do like, I'll have a basic understanding of like their AC. And then I'll do like, okay, so this person's shooting this kind of gun, that's what it's going to be. So even their attacks, a lot of the time I actually do that. Or I'll have like weapon malfunctions and stuff. No one's spontaneously exploded yet, but we will see. It's always, I love the chaos.
Now, another question. So with your tenure in this space and that the fact that you have put out a number of completed series.
Is it because I'm wearing a blazer that you're just going to call me tenured?
I don't know, but like,
oh, yeah?
It's just like you put down your monocle before we went live, and I'm kind of disappointed by it.
You're the one with a Scotch class.
Whoa. It is a whiskey tumbler. Not Scotch. Get fucked.
Well, just the different kinds, right?
How dare you? Yeah.
Oh.
But anyway, the question I have is like that you've had a number of like completed series, and then you've had like one-off, like one-shots, and then you've had like, trilogies. Do you, and I know that this is sometimes a dangerous question. Whoa, how the fuck is he a silver fox? Jimmy, you get your ass back here and like
you're a silver, what, are you a silver badger?
I know, I'm just a badger, and he's the fucking silver fox. So like this here, it's the badger, and I'm badgering you with questions. So
yeah,
so I know it's sometimes a hard thing to say because, like, who sets out to write 10 books, or like, is it going to be a trilogy, or is it like, oh, if this takes off, I will write it until I die? Like, what is your kind of initial plan with this? And sub question of that, what sort of pacing do you imagine that you will have in terms of development for the characters throughout?
Well, I was thinking of doing a semester a book, but then it turned into 4 weeks. Well, this is a week on book 1, isn't it, for you?
You absolute whore. You whore, okay? That was mean, okay?
Oh, you're welcome.
And it was a month in book 1, and it is the semester 1 trilogy.
You really pushed like 2 of those weeks. You were like, "Oh shit, we should do some time skips."
Yeah, okay, that is also true. Yeah, this is why we don't confide in our friends, because they're secretly bitches.
Yes.
But yes,
makes for fun.
It does. Okay, answer the question, you fucking bastard. It was super low, but knowing Jez, he's going to come in with something even more scathing afterwards.
Yeah, I'm just you'd see it percolating in the comments, can't you? But so the thing is I don't have a set kind of, it's going to be this long and all this kind of stuff. I think that it's with hamstering and also being an indie, you can kind of do your own thing, and that's okay. I think it's going to be a long series, and I think it'll be Like right now, it's a bit of a slow burn because they're building themselves up. We're starting to learn parts of the world and all that kind of stuff. But it will have points of just absolute chaos and speed. Um, the I know it's probably going to be at least 6 books, but like book one's 125,000 words. Book two is probably going to be like 150, I would guess. But I'm hoping not to have them as big as the 10 Realms became, because what happened with the 10 Realms was because of the serialization of every single realm had a book. Sometimes there was a lot happening in a realm, sometimes there wasn't a ton happening in a realm, and it kind of made it a little harder. That's why, some of them are just fucking doorstops. But that's why it's like having a serialization where it's like, okay, well, this is a good point to stop. We'll pause it there and then continue on and go with that. Makes it a lot easier. The pacing is kind of slow. Like in book one, I think we go through a week, maybe 4. Like actually, like now I think about it, I think we go through 4 weeks in book one.
Yes, rocket. Hey, Carl.
Oh, but yeah, so that'll be, that's interesting. But
is 4 weeks enough time to really cover anything?
Like a lot can happen in 4 weeks. Like
I know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you were to like look at this from the perspective of you've written a number of series.
He was at one point. Sorry, what?
Yeah. Oh, a seaman joke.
Yes.
Where are our Navy people? So, series 24
running around.
Except for the fact that all 24 hours were documented and not a single person went for a shit. Like, no one went to the bathroom in 24.
Depends. Well, actually, do you have Depends underwear over there? Well, I don't know.
I don't know what
you can't go to your local pharmacy, so maybe you've gone to, another one down the street and seen it. Yeah.
So, moving back on to the question I was asking you, you fuck. What do you think is your kind of maybe key learning from or the things that you've applied that you've learned from your previous series that you've implemented into this?
I really feel like as soon as we said the Porter John, we really just continued the theme. But with the one thing I really do now is I document things, like keeping a record of, okay, this character said this character talked about that. Here are all those characters, those kinds of things. That's huge. And it's also created a massive amount of Excel sheets because then I have all of the information there to go back to. The other thing is it's the KISS rule, and I love the KISS rule of keep it simple, stupid. And sometimes you'll be like, oh, well, they have these abilities and they're going to go grab that ability and then grab this ability and grab that thing. Okay. Most of the time, yes, it's cool when they get new abilities, but what happens is then you have ability overload of you as the writer start forgetting about what abilities that they have. So one, make a character sheet for them to make sure that you have all those abilities and then use those together. But when you're in that flow state, you stop remembering all of that list and you pick out certain things in it and you remember that more. Instead of giving someone new abilities, expanding upon the abilities they already have and deepening them and using them in new ways is freaking awesome. Because then you're like, oh, the character's smart because they've come to the situation, they've adapted to the situation and gone for that. And yeah, Carl, I completely understand. Like when you've got like so many spells and all the different abilities, it can become overwhelming. And then it also like kind of slows your entire writing time because you're like, I want to do the fight. Oh my God, he has a shield spell. All right, we're doing a shield spell. okay, and it becomes like more technical, then it becomes like the fun of it, right? Because I think, when we're having fun writing the story for other people, then people get that. Like
Hmm.
that's the whole thing of like when you're excited for the story, excited for the characters, everything going on, everyone else goes, "Oh, I'm having so much fun. I'm enjoying this because I can see the joy that the other person has had doing this and giving it to me as a lovely present."
So, and I think that the when you're using D&D specifically, there's another rule that's also great, which is the rule of cool. Because
Mm,
if you're going to be doing something like entertaining, then why not stretch the realm of possibility in certain moments just to create epic moments?
mhm,
But like, and all the other thing as well is like with Carl's comment of I suffer personally from ability overload. There are two types of people. One that understands what he meant about like, writing in abilities in his books. I just see him as like bragging and gloating that he's just too capable. Like, that Carl is just too good at shit. And I'm like, fuck
mhm.
you, Carl. Like,
I got all these abilities. I know all of them, and I can use them accurately all the time. And then you're like,
I suffer from brilliance. Oh,
it's crushing. But no,
yeah.
you're all good, Carl. But no, it is a hard thing to deal with because you can get overloaded so quickly,
Hmm.
especially if you have, so many abilities, then you could be like, okay, I got this ability, this ability, this ability. You have to make sure that you have that list all the time because then you'll be like 3 books down the road and you're like, and then the character does this, the character does this, and then someone says, why don't they just fucking use this spell? And you're like, because you're fucking dumb. That's a way better way to do it. I'm gonna go do that. It's a shit.
So I recently had
You know that you're driving a lot of people to drink the amount you're vaping.
oh yeah, well none of them are playing along. Richie's off, playing with himself, looking at all the feet pictures, and
Yeah.
probably doing something inexcusable to kittens. That
Yeah.
bastard. Um,
Multitasking though.
yeah, he also suffers personally from ability overload. Um,
Don't want to
ugh,
see
you
that.
took that to a wrong place.
You
Um,
you you ended that sentence. You brought that to a
I don't know how that
finish.
happened, but like, speaking of like, hmm, um,
Oh,
so no, no, no. Okay, I just have to ask: is book one 12 chapters long?
no.
Then can you explain to me how this first reads, which is usually chapter one? I have 9,848 words in front of me.
Yeah. So shit happened, and now you have to deal with it.
No, I don't. Um, because like
So
this will bore everyone to tears. No, it's a great
yeah.
story. Don't get me wrong. Personally, I went through it just to check and see if it was shit, and it's not. But it's long.
Yeah, the thing is like actually chapter one is quite a bit because it's a hard thing, and I think this will be a hard thing for people coming into the series. There's 4 main characters, right? It's not one main character that we can fall in love with and then follow. So we have 4 characters right off the front who we just get to know, and then as we're learning these 4 characters, by them learning one another else, then we have another character step on the scene who's like, hey, so you want to live again? And then comes to the deal, which is cool. Which is also why I sent 2 chapters. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so there's chapter one and chapter two because chapter two is like fighting, they're talking, it's a little bit of fun and everything. Because chapter one is just so big. Um, so yeah, because chapter one is great. It's awesome. It introduces a character who is absolutely lovely, I think. And I think that people are going to enjoy him immensely. And he has so many secrets. And he's also Very, very fun. But the chapter 2 is really kind of like we're in an action scene, the characters are doing stuff, and it's a bit of comedy because Maya's personality has come out because she doesn't want to be so much murder captain as well. She is murder captain, but wow, Richie is really doing some weird things with kittens.
Delayed reaction much? Did you have to hide the evidence?
Yeah. Oh.
Wow. It makes me worried that he can do that in 4 minutes. Oh, Damien. Oh, God. I don't know, but I think you should be very specific in the report that you make against him.
Yes.
Yes, if Michael was a new author, I would worry, but knowing his quality of writing shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, thank you,
Shouldn't
man.
rather than
Yeah.
won't.
Fuck off. Yeah.
Leaving room for that, like, ooh.
But no, yeah, no. Like I hope so. It is hard because of, and I was talking to Nathan about this actually. And he gave me a big boost of confidence, and he was just like, "Hey, like like 4 characters is a lot, but I think you can do this because like you've had so many, like the big cast of 10 Realms. Now that said." And this is a caveat, this will not have as much of a major cast as
Hello, Zach.
hey, you cock smoking. Wait a minute. Let's read that out. Good day, Brian. If I can stop reading that part. You cock smoking lunatic. How the fuck are you, brother? Love that.
That is a term of endearment.
Mm.
Because clearly we see that Zach sees this as a cock.
Yeah.
They're a little different in Australia. I don't know.
What smoke comes out of them?
Well, I've never been with an Australian man.
Yeah, a lot of fires were recent. I guess that's inappropriate.
Ejaculatory wildfire disasters. It's like I'm so sorry.
Like, no wonder they were using like napalm when they were going into World War II. They were just like, that burns so bad. Yeah, flamethrowers. I was like, oh, it's just something comes out of them.
Well, we call people cunts, and that's a comment of endearment. Well, same, and this is why the Irish and the Australians like each other. Other than the fact, like, Ireland pretty much emigrated there after the recession, being like, hey, do you guys still like mine and stuff? Because we can do that.
Yeah, it's interesting of like all of Eastern Canada. You go there and they're like, do you like potatoes? And we're like, oh, you had a famine. You wanna do that over here? So like PEI potatoes are just like a staple in Canada, and it's like, oh yeah, it's just from the potato famine. The Irish came over, and so you go to like Eastern Canada, and it's like the Irish accent's still pretty thick. Like, of course, just modulated and changed, but it's like, okay.
I would love to see Damien Mann write a history book. As in, like, just they lost to the Dino Birds. I think that would be a really, really cool sentence just reading a history book.
It reminds me of what was it? Michael Scott Earl. He does the Dinosaur Tamer, right? And I'm just like, that would be a different kind of history book.
Now,
just the Australians and the dinosaurs, and they had to find peace somehow.
Just think to 100 years from now, where like someone will look at the bullshit Amazon categories we put ourselves into of being like Asian myth and legend, and they're like, oh, well, clearly they were fucking dinosaurs back then. And they had level up screens.
Yeah.
This
what
is
are
wild.
They doing? Yeah. I didn't know that was how a velociraptor was made. Yeah. How you doing, Jodan?
We still have standards. We don't invite cripples on, so full-bodied only. In more way than one.
In full strength.
Are you hydrating, you bitch? That's cheating.
This is drinking and drinking.
I don't like that.
Well, what else do you want? Do you want bourbon? Do you want vodka? I've got gin. Drank all the rest of it.
Yeah, brother, if Diners were here, we would have killed them and ate them already. See, I just love that go-get-'em attitude.
Yeah.
Like, that's great.
The universe needed a nuke that obliterated the entire planet to get rid of most of them. Like the other thing is crocodiles and alligators live among us. So weird fact of like they can just go into stasis. They just get cold and they put their snout out of the water and then they just go into stasis.
Didn't come here to fuck spiders.
Didn't come here to fuck spiders, mate.
I love that phrase. I first heard from Skillup, the YouTube reviewer, Ralph Panabianco, Australian guy who's like, not here to fuck spiders. And I'm like, I fucking love this. But yes, anyway.
That makes me think of the part where you've got that the spiders in Baldur's Gate. I'm just like, fair.
Yeah, no. As in like, drow is the only way forward. Anyway. No, not Driders. Driders, no. Don't bang a Drider.
Think about this. Being entombed in their legs.
Okay, no, that kind of works for me.
Really? That doesn't work for because they're hairy. They're fuzzy and hairy. Spider legs.
Now you just sound judgmental. So I had previously thought that the worst thing we could ever do is allow Zach Roberts and Paul Hasseltine to, interview people on this stream. Now I feel after just listening to myself talk, like I did essentially bully Joe Dan. And like that's like a death wish right there.
Yeah, like it's a good thing that we're many, many miles away from him for the next 3 months.
Yeah. Whoa. 4 months. I have time. We both saw it at the same time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh fuck. It's like, it just like Joe Dan slapping a pogo stick, be like, this here, trustworthy.
Like a space hopper just hits it, just like bam, and like one of the kids is running behind, like hits it, the kid just goes flying.
Oh dear. Sorry. Anyway.
You're awesome.
Thank you. So Best Buy, I can take it. Sorry. Yeah, that's something we could be taken out of context. So anyway, moving swiftly on. I think the whiskey is helping me as I hype myself up to read a million words. Why are you like this?
Well, you're welcome.
And it turns out that chapter 1 is shorter than chapter 2.
Is it?
Yeah, I scrolled down and I'm on page 13 of 33. Who do you
have to read the whole thing?
No. Who do you think is the most honest out of this entire group in the chat?
Honest.
Is Paul still here?
Definitely the most blunt. Joe Dan will give you an answer.
No, he's too polite for this. I was going to say, if someone was going to say, to tell us when to tap out.
Oh.
Do you need mixer, Boo? Do you need mixer for that?
No.
Okay. Big man. Big tenured man.
When you hit the acid reflux, like you're a truck going 110 into a barrier, and you broke the barrier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Zach said I would have said screw the book reading, just get blind. Oh, tapping out. What? Do you not have, wrestling?
I like that. That's a good answer, tapping a keg. Yeah. Oh, have you seen people tap a keg wrong, and then it just absolutely explodes everywhere?
No, but I kind of want to know.
Yeah, it's hilarious because, there's one I was watching and it was like, there's a bunch of Germans around like a small keg of beer, and they're like, "Oh, like we're gonna go tap this and all this."
Germans did it wrong? That's
Yeah,
like
they didn't hit it hard enough, so it like kind of went in and then came out immediately, and then just started spraying them. And so like one just runs out with a stein and just shoves it up against the hole. So he's just like auto-filling this entire stein, and he's like the other guy's like getting ready for like hit number two, and like he removes a stein. It's like watching the F1 but with beer keg tapping skills, and then just like goes to hit it again, fucks it up, another stein goes in, and I was really impressed with the amount of speed that they came up with. Let's get another stein and just stick it against this so we don't lose any.
just the tip that got blasted in the face. Yeah. Barely got in, came out, just started spurting everywhere. Sounds terrible. But keg shotgunning a thing. Jesus Christ, Carl, you are a medical professional.
Well,
So technically, that makes this way more valid. Like I was told by a medical professional. He just said, "Don't open the keg with your teeth." Like,
oh god. There's I knew a guy who knew a guy who was a rugby guy, and all of his front teeth were gone, and so he knew his dentist and like apparently really well. And in his teeth, behind his like right here, he just had a bottle opener, so he could just go, and then he's like, "There you go." But he was like a firefighter too, so it was like he had full dental and everything. He just like got it fixed one time, and then he was like, "Oh, can you throw like a bottle opener in there? Because that's what I've been using my teeth for this entire time. And if I don't have that, then I don't know why I would have teeth." And they're like, "The fuck?" But they were like, "Yeah, sure, we'll do that."
So I just want to reference the comments for a moment. Joe Dan, I'm only brutally honest when people cry in the gym, so that will be me. I will say that my eyes are sweating and that you'll be nice about it. Thank you very much. Carl, or dude, that makes me more money. I respect Carl way more for this. And then Paul, you can't physically fit a keg worth of beer in yourself. I don't know what part of my genealogy or upbringing made me viciously rebel against that statement. I know that it is scientifically an anomaly, but I kind of want to try now.
How many pints are in a keg? 124 pints.
Paul is absolutely correct. Carl clearly wants me to die.
Oh.
And Geneva can get fucked. No, that's not going to happen. There's way too many things that are already recorded of us that we don't like or that we don't need anymore in our lives. Like America's ass. Probably thought it was going to be a funny joke, and now it will be you forever. It's you forever.
Kendra found those pants the other day.
Ha!
Yeah.
Do they still fit you?
I didn't try them. I was just.
I was going to try and see if there was any saucy kind of like, in intel you were going to give us. So like, did it lead into a role play?
The one thing I got was, these fit you? And I was just like, yeah. Like, I don't know how to take this. Oh, ooh, that's, yeah. Don't do that.
Is that a thing? I don't know what that is.
So here's a disclaimer of what you should never, ever, ever do in your life. So when you drink liquids, it gets processed by your liver and your kidneys, and then gets past your bloodstream and then continues upwards. If you go through another route,
thank you, Facebook user. I don't know.
It doesn't actually go through the filtration system of your own body. But it hits your bloodstream immediately. So, like, I don't know what the percentage loss is, but it's quite huge when it goes through your actual normal way. Goes the other way, it's so bad, and never do that. But funny joke. It is a funny joke, but just don't do that. Bad idea.
What? No.
So, okay. So, I will tell you something. In my unit, we had our initiation rites called the Chili Willy. What you do is you take a shot glass, you turn it upside down, and it's yes, okay, it's the wording, but you know how like good shot glasses have like a bit of a concave underneath of it. So what you do is you fill it up with vodka, and then you snort it, and oh, it's absolutely horrible. The worst is possibly when you do the first sniff, and the next is the worst when you wake up the next morning and you breathe for the first time through your nose because there's still vodka in your nose. So you just go, oh, and so it's like a brain enema, which is not great.
That is disturbing.
There's also my friend. He termed the coin the double barrel and then the quad barrel. So the double barrel is you do two of them at the same time. The quad barrel is you take four of them and then you have this little handy ritual, and then you can go and then go through both of them.
But the other thing, like, just a wild thing is like,
Yeah,
I like
it's
alcohol
don't do
for
that.
the taste.
Mm.
So I don't
Cleansing
like.
properties.
No, no, there are actual things like medicine for that.
Mm.
This is not medicine. It's just
No, it
pain.
is not. Don't do it.
Yeah.
I've done it to tell you it is a terrible idea not to do it again.
I think common sense prevailed with myself in that I just don't need to try.
Yeah, and as TJ says, just because the body is able to do something doesn't mean you should do it, and that's 100% true.
Yeah, that's very, very true. So what I've decided that I think I'm going to do is I'm going to read the blurb of Four Horsemen first.
You're just
It,
cutting it down into segments so much. You're like, I'm going to read a sentence by the end of this.
okay. Now let's see. Let's hope that you put some good, work into your blurb.
I hate blurbs. Blurbs
Man,
are the hardest thing.
oh, Jez can tell you the pain I went through. Where I was like, hey, look, I wrote a blurb. He's like, Brian, you wrote a synopsis. Where's the hook? Where's the cliffhanger? It's like, oh shit, this has like ad copy. And I'm like, oh, and just like, oh, this is too spoilery. This is too spoilery. I'm like, motherfucker. Okay. And eventually we got this down to something like 80 words. And I'm like, this tells us fucking nothing.
Yeah.
But it's got a good hook. And I'm like, ah.
You know what the thing is that yeah, like I don't think the blurb is great, but funny story. I forget if it was, I think it was Death Knight. I just said in like, I think it was like the third or fourth book, and it's since been revised, but I just had, so this has happened. This could happen. Just go get the fucking book, essentially. Like it was just like, you're this far, you've got to book 3. I know you want to read it. Go read the rest of it. Trust me, it's going to be okay. And like, I think after like, okay, actually, question to the viewers. How many of you read the blurb of a book after book 2?
Also, anyone that was going to drink whenever his accent changed, take a drink because blub is not very Canadian.
Yeah.
So
Nope. Yep. So it's
also,
actually yes. Gary's
I'm
nope.
I'm offended by the fourth word of your blurb.
Wait, which blurb did you pull up? Did you pull up the Royal Road one?
Yes, I did. Peter is reborn as famine. It's like you're playing with my history. People died, Michael.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, people die here too. You start off with a lot of death, actually.
Where did you come up with the name Peter?
Just happen.
Yeah, it was really cool because we were like, hey Brian, I forgot number 11's name, and I'm like, how do I tell you this?
But it's with an O instead of an E.
Yes. It's really funny how like I named one of my characters Petro, and you were like, let's just switch around those letters on Peter.
You know what though? Like I've had this one in the works for 2 years.
Mine came out first. Get fucked.
Well played, well played. That was such a quick draw on that too. You're like,
I can win against Michael Chatfield at something.
Nah,
poverty. I win. But yeah, so I'll just read this quick.
So yeah, so most is like.
Thank you, Joe Dan. You are appreciated.
It seems like most, like Zach does, but we've already eliminated Zach from the pool of people who we should listen to.
There's only like 3 people here, and they've all weighed in. So, like, this is a first reads, and like, if I don't read anything, people will probably just be like, "What the fuck is the point of this?" Mm-hmm. It's just us getting drunk, and it's a wonderful opportunity to talk about your story. So, you ready for this?
Sure.
And how do I pronounce them? Is it Peter or is it Petor?
Peter.
Peter. Okay.
Yeah.
You're just being extra with fantasy. Okay.
Yeah. You're welcome, Zach. Oh yeah. With 10. Okay. Yeah. We're told that we can't do more than 10%, but
so no, you can't do more than 10 minutes for audiobooks when that comes out. But what I can do is I'll read the blurb. We'll talk about how shit it is, and then we'll jump into the first 10 minutes of chapter 2. Sound good?
Sure. Do you want me to time you? It's gonna be a race.
No, you don't have to time me for the blurb.
No. I mean, like when you get into the content, you're just gonna have
to. Geneva does that. Like, why are you such a control freak?
No, because then it's more fun. It puts so much pressure on you.
Yeah, only if you do the countdown music.
Oh God, she was such a sour person. What is Peter Packer?
Peter. Peter Packer. Peter Parker. Peter Packer. Maybe. Is it?
Maybe.
Peter Packer. Maybe. I'd be very impressed if I got that. But then again, we did spend time with Demi in Majorca, and that was wonderful.
Yes.
There we go. English Peter Parker.
Yeah. Okay.
Peter is reborn as Famine, one of the dread 4 horsemen. Yesterday he died at the hands of his goddess's champions. Yesterday he took 5 of them to the grave. Yesterday he saved a town slated for slaughter, a spark to start a war as his own village had been. His swift and brutal defiance results in his soul's banishment to the celestial realm for judgment. Along the way, a devil has a deal for him. Return to the mortal realm, carry out his quests. In return, he'll be sent back to his world with the information to kill a goddess. But Famine won't tread this desolate path alone. His companions are as ruthless as they are extraordinary. Desari, a former assassin turned mage turned guardian, now known as Conquest, wields arcane powers that defy nature's very laws. Mad Maya, the personification of death, master of the macabre and captain of the undead, holds dominion over seas and souls alike. Volter, imprisoned body and soul within his sarcophagi immortalius, a tool turned into the embodiment of war. shatters his own god emperor's bonds in a brutal act of defiance. Together, they embark on a harrowing journey through realms and across planes, their choices possessing the power to reshape worlds. Yesterday, they died. Today, they ride.
Rhymes, doesn't it? But also, yeah, we got to fix a few things.
So much. You have to fix so much.
Yeah, but
I have to say, if like it's so funny because like Peter as Famine and all of this, I'm like, oh, Peter, yeah, no, this sounds pretty cool. Desari, Maya, and Walter all sound epic, and I'm there like Peter. Like it's essentially just like it's like it's the fucking Hunger Games again. It's like Peter.
yeah.
It's like Peter who literally makes bread. His name is Peter Bread. Like that is
when you say it like that, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know. But Desari is that's cool. Now known as Conquest. Great name.
Mm-hmm. And it's
Walter.
also the thing.
Walter is such a cool name.
Oh yeah, and
Walter. Shit, Walter. It's like that man can jump.
You should see him. Like, you put a couple of boards in front of him, he'll be high skipping over that shit and like no problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it like Walter is like terrifying in kind of a Kev way. So Kevin Sinclair is a lovely human being, and he is so hyper competent at so many things. And he's like also, a man of few words.
He's incredibly incompetent at appearing like he's giving a shit.
Yes.
So when you're talking to him, he will stare at you, and then he'll be like, and you'll be like, okay, approval. We're good.
Yeah. Oh God.
Have a good one, Zach.
See you later, Zach.
And thank you for complimenting my sexy voice.
Mm-hmm. Apparently smoke came out. Paul could see it. It's a signal.
Oh, yes. The guy with the mustache, Peter. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Pete, like you precious man, Yeah.
Love it. But yeah.
Thank
So
you
you've quite a few chapters out.
That's 100. Yeah, like I think we're releasing in like not this Tuesday coming up, but next Tuesday. So what'll happen is we'll release it all on Roll Road. Book will come out. Then by the time the book comes out, we'll actually be into book 2, and then continuing on like that.
Will you be stubbing it on book 1 on Royal Road?
Nope.
Keeping it wide?
Yeah, so it'll be for the first month and a half, we're doing just our store and subscription. And then after that, we're going to be doing Amazon, Kobo, everyone like that. And then once the series is all done, we'll look at going into KU. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Because I would love for a period of time where KU is not completely exclusive and we can be a little bit more choose how you want to do this. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah. So right now we're with Patreon. We're actually chatting with Reem. So we might go that way in the future. But that would not be in December just because December's so much going on, right? And it's it doesn't make sense to do stuff. And then people are dealing with all their families, all of their gift giving and all that cool stuff. So we're okay, we'll wait until January to pull that kind of thing.
Cool.
Yeah,
who are you, Facebook user? We're getting love hearts. I need to know who you are because no one loves us.
I swear to fuck, if that's Kev, it's not gonna be Kev. There's a heart in it. Yeah.
Nah, there would
But
have been
no.
spelling mistakes if it was Kev. And he would have called me a cunt.
Like,
Oh, Amanda.
Oh,
We love you
Amanda.
too.
Hi, Amanda.
We love you too, Amanda. And we're going
So
to
good
see
to see
Amanda
you.
in a couple of months.
Same amount of time as Jodan. You said it earlier.
No.
You had it.
No.
Oh, yeah. It's me, Amanda.
I love it.
Oh, what's the thing that? Okay, so
ASC.
StreamYard does this thing where it like kind of you have to like allow it permissions to see your name on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there we go.
So, but yeah, you're going to ASC, aren't you?
Yeah.
The Dublin. Yeah. Okay. See, we'll see Amanda in a couple of months. That's in February.
Yeah.
And I'll have 2 books out by then. Shock. Horror. I'm terrified.
January
Do you remember
12th.
when you had 2 books out when you were like 4 years old?
Yes. Dublin.
There would be lots of drinking, Dimmy.
Give me bring your drinking pants. Oh God, it's gonna be so much fun. It was just like, oh, it's gonna be so good to see Dimmy, but it's just gonna be so good to see everyone. But yeah, no, and that's what writers do. We get together, and we brainstorm, but sometimes the brain needs power, and for that power, it requires supplementation.
Yes, it does. Oh. And we look forward to seeing you.
Ooh, super late. Yeah, that is super late. Yeah,
Yes, that is very, very late.
Yeah. Like a month late.
There's something happening in March.
Hey, how you doing, man?
But yeah, so we crack on into
Seville is happening in March.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Like Kaelin, dude writes like it's his job.
It kind of is.
Yeah. Oh, it's like writing is my passion. Does it pay your bills? Yes. It'd be like, it's your fucking job.
Yeah. Joe Dan, you just took a bro Dan on that one. But no. Yeah, no, he does. Like, he goes nuts on it. But it is a thing of just like every day, just show up, right? Like, I think that the one thing I could say to anyone who's wanted to do this stuff is just show up, or to anything. You put in that work, that's it. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like if you show up and you're consistent and you're like, hey, we're going to go do this. We're going to go like continually push on this, then that's your job at that point. Like, I think it was interesting because a couple of years back, we were talking about this with a couple of other people and we're like, hey, like, you know, that you're in a profession. And it's like, okay, yeah, cool. No. Yeah. I wasn't taking it like you were ragging on him. I was taking it as you're like, yeah, exactly, as a joke. I was like, oh yeah, no, you're good, my dude, you're good.
Yeah, like we don't bully kids here. Kaelin's a nice guy.
Dude, nicely done. Sorry, Jonan was like, yeah, he's got some good words in. Nice.
Naomi, this is 18s plus. Get off.
Yeah,
off the computer.
Michael, other Michael.
Where
is he? Is he on the couch just like having nom noms? And he's been.
He is happened? Literally wearing a wife beater, a fucking white wife beater, vaping and giggling.
Oh,
that's cute.
Nice. Steal it more often. But no, like, because like every time I talk to a head, sometimes like he'll be like, "Oh, the cat's on me. I don't know what to do." Amanda, I have been abducted by the ghillie. It's just like I know you've been broken many times, but the cat has not defeated you yet.
I think my favorite is like when he's trying to find something beside him, which is literally right beside him, and he'll just be like, "Alexa, light." And then a light turns on beside him, and he's like, "I can't see it, Amanda."
I just
Yeah, yeah, and then
Amanda.
you'll see Amanda like literally get up like with a fucking walking stick or a cane, and you're like, "Oh, Michael's such a bastard." um,
Oh, there's yeah. Also,
oh,
Dimmy, if you want to ask a question, go for it, my dude. Yeah, Richie Stevens was speaking your book to life. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I know. Back to Naomi, the better sibling. Well, at least your mother and father taught you spelling. Good shot. What was the one video game that made you cry and why? Wasn't it you and the Siren song?
oh, why are you like this? No, I didn't cry. I was just mesmerized by the harpies, and it was harpy song,
Mm,
and it's just so beautiful that. And then like in Baldur's Gate 3, because Borislav Slavov, just absolutely incredible composer, and it's
mhm,
literally designed to fucking distract you from the ambush from the harpies. And if you
mm.
fail your wisdom check, it literally just fucking like gets louder and just more melodic, and it's just amazing. And I was like, this is unreal. And then I get ambushed. I'm like, oh, you fuckers.
You
um,
played this so well.
but no, there are a lot of heart wrenching moments in Baldur's Gate 3 that have kind of gotten me to well up and stuff. So, yeah.
Mm, I
I did cry when I was younger with Final Fantasy VII when Aerith died.
You know what? Final Fantasy, I think for everyone, like I have not been into that series much, but Final Fantasy has a way of just playing on people's heartstrings so well.
Orin, um, Orin dying. Well,
Yeah.
that in Final Fantasy X, that got me as well. Um, yeah, no, there's a lot of good ones. What about you, Dimmy? But Dimny's a very, very emotional person. In a good way, I
Mm.
mean. Like as in like very, very in tune with his emotions.
What's it? Heart in the sleeve is the term that we
Yeah.
use. Yeah. Joe Dan also said Last of Us back in the day. I can understand that one. And then the first one was Crystalis on the NES, though. Did you play Crystalis?
No, I never played it. I never had an NES.
Yeah, me either. Oh, I cry very easily, so every video game. Oh, Katie's got the phone back from Naomi. But no, I don't know. It takes quite a bit. You know what was what like one of those things where you like, oh, Horizon Zero Dawn, that end scene did me in. Yeah, yeah, I can understand that. I saw a bit of that. One of the things that got me was in Doctor Who. There was um, a Christmas special, and it was about all of the old Doctors. And it was, I think it was him going from the seventh generation to the eighth generation because the Doctor could only reincarnate 7 times, right? Um, and it was just this thing of like reaching through time, and it was this kind of thing of I'm done and I pass the mantle on to you. And it was just one of those things of just like going, like ending the entirety of the being to progress, to help someone else. And that really, like, I was just like, it just caught me off guard so much. And it was like, I'm not one to cry at many things. And I was just like, holy crap. And I just, like, was like, that was so well done. And it's really, really hard to do like a great one. Oh yeah, the episode on Doctor Who when Vincent Van Gogh visits the gallery. That
fuck.
yeah,
No, that gets me every time. Where just like, oh, he's one of the greatest. Oh, yeah, no, I'm not even talking about it. That one gets
yeah.
me.
And especially like seeing like so underappreciated at the time, and then going like, and I get goosebumps, kind of like, this is your future. Like, I wonder if Tolkien, that could be another kind of one to do, because it's like Tolkien, great accolades and everything by it, but essentially started the entire fantasy genre as we know it in its current format, right? So, yeah. Oh, yeah. I gotta say, David Tennant is an amazing actor. Like Good Omens and Doctor Who, just so good. Um, yeah, it was just like embodies him so much. And then who was the who was the fella? Um, oh, he's a bit wilder hair, and I think it was two doctors ago.
Peter Capaldi,
No, Capaldi was amazing
Matt
though.
Smith.
Matt Smith, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
love Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, Peter Capaldi was like, he was awesome. Um, I was so happy for Peter Capaldi, and it was just, I think it was just like people were not used to, because it had such success in the United States with Matt Smith, and then it changed, and they were like, what the heck, like this happens, and we're like, yep, that's Doctor Who, and like, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Wheel of Time audiobook, this last sacrifice of the last battle.
Like,
Christopher
even
Eccleston.
I know it's basic, but even like Snape dying, like, that got me. I just love Alan Rickman.
Oh, Alan Rickman, such a gem. Like, and just also just like so good as an actor. Like his ability to be so many characters, and just like also seem like there's such a lovely person.
See, Christopher Eccleston always looks like a villain to me, but also Peter Capaldi. So I was quite surprised. Like, it's still like I've never gotten into Doctor Who though.
I will say Christopher Eccleston as Doctor Who, I was really sad when he left Doctor Who. Because I feel that he brought it back in such a big way. Like he really embodied the Doctor. Especially actually one of the most heart wrenching uh, episodes was Mommy with the gas masks. I think it was just titled Mommy, and it was he was in World War II, and these kids had started coming back, and they had a gas mask on their face, and it had fused to their face, and they were just coming out of the woodwork, and they were like, "Mummy, are you my mummy, mummy?" And then and it was very freaky, very scary, but it was also the thing of like the story behind it was amazing, and yeah, like such a good story. But yeah, he played it so well.
So, talking about basic, last episode of the Supernatural series. John Barrowman. I loved him as Malcolm Merlin in Arrow. I was like, why are you here? But yeah. Anyway, what was that? I completely lost my train of thought. Do you want me to read your fucking story?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
the empty child with the Ninth Doctor. Yeah, the Ninth Doctor was what's his name? Eccleston.
Yeah.
Yeah, Barrowman. Yeah, it's hard though because he is such a strong actor, John Barrowman. It's like hard to have someone else kind of off of him. I feel So yeah. Anyway,
I'm leaving it to you. Chapter 1 or chapter 2? You wrote them.
yeah, but I also send a document because I don't keep it all in my head. That's why I write books. Oh God.
Oh,
So
actually,
yeah.
Once Upon a Time, the Disney-esque the show, the live action one, where it's the like that one, yeah, that show made me cry a few times. But yeah, it was really good. Like the Mad Hatter episode with Sebastian Stan, Jiminy Cricket episode, like there was so many fucking brilliant things in that. No,
Well, I think also
chapter 1 or 2.
chapter 2, I'll say. But I would also say, like, after getting a new appreciation of it, Ted Lasso, I think, is like the anthema for crying.
Oh,
Because it's like a hug of movie shows.
Are you up to date with it?
No. Oh God, I think we're at like season 3 or something like that.
Have you seen any restaurant themed episodes?
We just had Zava show up at the restaurant.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah, it's like the first time that they've been in there.
I just love how blatantly Zava is Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Oh man, like I was like, I'm pretty sure this is Abramovich, but like I was like going through it and I was like, oh no, it's so like it's right here. That really, and especially the fucking yeah. But you would know.
Yeah, it's very funny. I love Ted Lasso. So just the darts game is just brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Hey, don't do that.
No, you're
Naomi
all
or
good.
Casey.
The gift is seeing you in Dublin. That'll be the thing.
That is correct.
First show where the plot was less important than his character arc. It almost didn't matter what happened in the show as long as he made his peace with it. It's very fair. And it is also, it goes through like everyone's struggles. Like the character arcs are the main thing. I think, okay, I have a personal philosophy. If you go through the character arc of books, that's where the gold is every time. And I've talked to people who like do TV shows and do movies and stuff, and they're like, with TV shows, it needs to be a strong personality because if you don't have that personality to like ground it, then the series won't continue, right? So it's like, it's interesting of how even they are understanding it. I shouldn't say how even they, but how TV understands it to such a big degree because it is such a risk in TV to do shows.
No comment.
All right.
I had a chat today with a friend. Okay, I do have a comment. I had a chat today with a friend, and they were like reading. They were reading Quest Academy, and they were like, like I'm trying to figure out what's the plot. I'm like, what? And they're like, what's the plot? He's way too overpowered, and like everything's so easy. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, but what's the answer? What's the plot? And I was like, you'll see. Like, keep reading.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where you're like, have faith. Like, it's, yeah. But, like, it's so hard to, like, try to put into words, as in, like, it's like the character arc of, like, how you try and take a character from their upbringing, throw them into a kind of entire situation or scenario that they've never even aspired towards, and it's a different kettle of fish.
Yep.
And a friend just sent me a message that they've literally just ordered the Major BJ throw blanket on the merchandise store. I'm like, why are you like this?
Well, can you get it in Ireland?
I don't know, but like she's gonna find out the hard way.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, and thank you, Jodan. Damien had a question there. If you could have one of your books done into a TV series, what one and who would you want to do it? Also, animated or live? This will probably be a harder question because you have 1 million of them.
Okay, if I was going with like, okay, I really love science fiction and I wish it would get more love. So that'd be a cool, like, absolute wonder project, which will never happen, would be Harmony War, and doing that and then continuing that series throughout. But I think that the best one would be Ten Realms would be awesome as animated, but I think if there's actually like two people that I was like, so like if you had Alexander Skarsgård as Eric, and then you had uh, I forgot what his name is. But there was is like an ex Navy SEAL who plays like who's also an actor, and he is like he's built like Rugrat, and I feel like he has the same kind of humor as Rugrat of just he's just kind of like I'm gonna goof around. That would be like if I could pick two people to play them, that's what I would do. But otherwise, I would do animated series just because the amount of just everything you do in there is just so pushed beyond the envelope that like the CGI in it would be fucking nuts. Kevin Sorbo should be play. Okay, just he just duels himself.
It's The Adventures of Young Hercules, in case you're googling him.
No, I you know how I know him, Andromeda.
Oh,
Yeah, love that show.
disappointed. I know.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's a
Stargate
much.
SG-1 though.
I've never watched any Stargate. I've never watched any of the like sci-fi series. The only one I did watch from Star Trek was Star Trek. The one with your man from Scott Bakula, the one from Quantum Leap. The guy from Quantum Leap, he was captain. So is it Enterprise or Next Generation or something? Anyway, doesn't matter.
Stargate.
Like T'Pol was the Vulcan, female Vulcan, and she was awesome.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I know what you're talking about now.
But Hercules and Xena, very, very good. Lucy Lawless, I think, like we all cried when Enterprise. Thank you, Brandon. I think we all cried as children when we found out like that Lucy Lawless was gay. And it was just like, damn, my chances with Xena are now gone. Yes.
But yeah, no, like it's
gotta be aspirational when you're like 10.
Well, at 10, you should be aiming for 10, right? That's the way I'm gonna say it.
So to answer the question, because it's much easier for me, because I've written like 2 books, 3. The Quest Academy, I would see as a TV series. I can see that as a TV series because it will be longer running. Animated. I would see it as live action. Then if I was to say, but Wild Cards, I see as a movie. I see it absolutely now for actually just on Quest Academy. Timothy Chalamet as Sal, or Asa Butterfield the guy who's Otis from Sex Education.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So like the tall and nerdy ish. So, but yeah, I think for wild cards though, I think would be very good as a live action movie. Yeah, Demi, I think Sean may be a good match for Sal. Divinity is a much harder cast, but like I was thinking maybe upgrade. You could go with like Florence Pugh for the likes of upgrade. Gee. Oh, sorry. Yes, movies cut too much out of books. Fair.
Yeah. It's so, you know what?
Order placed. So yeah, the order did go through. um, Paul, I really hope this isn't you just discovering that you're now a father.
No. Jesus. Catch you later, Paul. Have a good one, dude. Yeah, I think.
But I was like, which one is he in the picture? And I was like, wait a minute, he's not Shammer. I know which one he is. But okay, let's do this. Oh, dear Lord, I've done nothing with my life, Paul. Okay. Chapter 2. You ready for this?
Because you know what's the greatest part is you're coming back to first reads chapters with chapter 2. So now, like, you can just do a theme of like just do chapter 2s.
Well, I only read what I'm given, and then I just give you the option. So you're the one that has
You're
deviated
a
from the script.
strong, independent man. You can do what you want to. I can just feel the words fuming behind that, and it powers my soul.
I was happy to retire. Okay, I was like, you know what? First reads. I'm a writer now. I'm like doing Quest Academy, book 3. We're going. We're doing well. Let's go. And then I just get a message being like, you know, hey Brian, do you do first reads anymore? It's me, your best friend, Michael Chatfield. Do you want to like maybe read my story? And I was like, oh, of course I will, buddy. As long as we get to drink while I'm doing it. Oh, thank you, Damien.
Thank you, Damien. Appreciate it, my dude.
Is it an audiobook for one of Chatfield's books?
Okay, you know what? I'll drop it here. So we're doing a duet.
Oh no! Who do you have first?
Neil Helligers.
Oh.
And Stephanie
Nemeth
Parker.
Best duo. Oh yeah. Like they're a very, very good duo. Like
so good.
See, yeah, I love their voices. Like Neil Helligers just has so much gravitas, and like it's like the only reason, like for Quest Academy, I wanted a youthful voice because they're all 18, and Daniel Wisniewski is very, very good at that. But like Neil Helligers is like for people that have like lived and people that have like that real like kind of experience. Like he really, really captures that.
And like the thing is that so we've got we've got 4 main characters, right? And there's 2 are ladies, 2 are guys. It makes so much sense to have like a duet, and like we're going full bore on this. So it's like every time that a female voice talks or a male voice talks, they're going to be doing it themselves. And so it's going to be it adds so much complexity to everything, but I am just so excited for like the dialogue, because like then it's like a real back and forth between the 2 of them, because they'll be recording that live with one another to have that kind of banter. Yeah. So they actually are just like, okay, sync up time zones, work it through. It makes it a lot more time to do and make it. But I'm just like, fuck it. Like this will be so much better that way. And then also, yeah, I love how like we saw with the 10 realms with Neil of like the breakdown of stuff, and especially because we're jumping through like different planes, different worlds, and different stuff. Spoilers. That
It
people would
was
be
in
like,
the
okay,
blurb. It was in the
yeah, fuck it.
blurb.
But like people will be like, okay, well, I like to ground them into stuff. And this is what Neil did with the 10 realms was like, okay, well, in the eighth realm, this group's gonna have this kind of cornerstone accent and then move from there. So we're really moving in that kind of stuff, which is awesome.
That is
Just
really
grab
cool,
the
man.
bottle instead of the glass.
Yeah, no. That's really, really good. So chapter 2, we are 1 hour and 35 minutes into the stream, and I am going to do what the actual stream is about.
I still think Head has the highest. What was it, like 2 hours before you got into it?
No,
Well, you had to have dinner first.
he had to have dinner, and he didn't have to have that. That was completely his choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
He had been talking about that with me for weeks. He's like, I knew.
And all this tells me is that you are content to keep secrets from me.
You know what it also tells you? We're here for a good time.
At my expense.
Well, you know, Americans make gin and tonics really strong.
Jodan, why is your voice not your dream narrator?
Yeah, no, I will say, like, Jodan's voice is excellent. It's, yeah, like, I'm so excited actually for Jodan's, like, projects. Like, I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it,
No,
like, yeah.
Yeah, we did have a drunk conversation where I shared a clip around of Jodan doing voices and stuff, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And I just
it was
couldn't
a
believe.
cold read. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
So, chapter 2, Geneva, get your clock started.
We've run out of vodka.
We love you too, Jodan. The full stop gives it an element of finality that I'm not really sure how I feel about. Love you guys.
It's like, I love you guys up to this point.
Oh, it hurts. Sorry, we're writers. We read into these things.
He's just going like, oh my god, and at the same time, no!
Okay. Chapter 2. 4 horsemen? But 2 of us are women, Maya yelled as Peter's hearing went from distant and snapped into crystal clear. The light was blinding. And who put a sun in my skull? Maya groaned. The light dimmed into runes along the 4 walls that angled into a square roof way above. The place was massive. Their pedestals were nearly next to one another, while the walls were 100 meters away. The runes ran down each of the walls, spread through the floor, and centered on the pedestals each of them stood on. Maya was rubbing her head and blinking into the fresh gloom. She and Dasari were unchanged, other than the togas they wore. He looked down. Not what I died in, that's for sure. He turned to his right. Altar, you have a face. Peter had been the tallest in his village, but Volta was built like a low-lying hill, twice as wide, made of packed muscle and a head taller. He had short salt and pepper hair that gave him a sense of gravitas instead of aging him. His eyes burned like magma. What was that?
I was just like, oh, the salt and pepper.
He had short salt and pepper hair that gave him a sense of gravitas instead of aging him. His eyes burned like magma, slowly fading into brown. Of course I have a... Walter grabbed his head. I have a face, he said in quiet wonder. Right. Dasari raised her eyebrow. Peter could see the thoughts forming before she disregarded it and looked around at the inscription scrawled up the walls. Some kind of teleportation formation, Lots of focusing going on here. Then drawing in power from somewhere. A lot of power. She sunk into mutterings and her own thoughts, holding her chin. Peter stepped off the pedestal, coughing from the dust that came up from the toga. He nearly fell, his strength disorienting him. Peter turned his gaze inward, his core reformed, a steady, simple, white sphere at the center of his small web of mana channels. No golden celestial power tearing him apart from the inside. He circulated his mana through the channels and into his body, his strength flaring through him. It didn't diminish. No wounds. The others moved oddly and slowly, unused to their bodies. A glint caught his eye and pulled on his neck. He grabbed his medallion underneath the toga. Got my storage device back, he said to the others. They began patting themselves down. Thank you for the gift, Calyx, you fucking bastard. Looting was a soldier's livelihood. He checked inside his armor, abused from the fight and the final arrow, his gear, as well as all of Calyx and the other paladins' gear. Volter was studying his upheld hand, his head snapping to the ceiling, the sudden movement pulling Peter's attention. The mountains shaking. He nodded to himself and ran for the only door in the room between him and Tisari. Well, this day is going great, Maya grumbled and started after Volter. Peter felt it then, a subtle shaking through solid stone. Are you trying to eat the backside of your toga, or are you just holding onto it between your ass cheeks like it owes you a month's worth of dock dues? The redhead cackled, turning her head. You coming, Peter? Gods, Peter cursed, chasing them. I was going to get nice and quiet beer down at the Swinging Lass and Lad, then those fuckers had to shoot on my ship. Now I gotta deal with some devil trader and end up in some pyramid temple. What a fucking day, huh? Good view, though. Door! Volter's words were in a frustrated snort. The light is going out, Peter noted. The runes down the hall were dying. Move! Tisari flicked out her hand, conjuring a small flame and using it to look over the door. So you can control fire? Maya asked. Yes. Tisari focused on the door, her finger traced over sections as she spoke in tongues and languages that passed over Peter's head. The tone of someone looking for, searching for, and learning something. Here. She stood back into a stance, grounding herself as if a monk, and slammed a palm into a collection of runes. The runes flared, stuttered, and died. No, you don't! Her voice deepened into power. The runes flared to life, spreading across the door, through the runes, cracking them. Sorry, Peter's voice rose. Break! The door shattered and blew outward into another hallway. Distant yells bounced through hallways. Ah, fuck. Peter winced as Volter ran into the room on the other side. Nice work, lass. Maya patted Tisari on the back and ran after Volter, with Peter right behind. Tisari pushed herself on next to him. He glanced back as a section of the pyramid crashed into the ground, breaking it and disappearing below. Great. Pedestal room with a big asshole underneath, Peter muttered as he checked his storage. He pulled on his vest, still roughed up from his last fight. His armbands and helmet followed. Tisari threw a robe around herself and pulled on a wrap that covered all but her eyes. Maya threw out boots, stepping into them somehow, and pulled on a vest covered in tube-like weapons, followed Maya with a falchion and her wide-brimmed hat. Volter's feet thudded on the ground in a toga that was about 3 sizes too small for him. He led them through the corridors and halls without pause. The shakes and shudders were getting worse, dust falling from the seams in the ceiling. He charged down a hall and that ended in a wall. Volter, Peter's voice rose in warning. It's a false wall, air coming through it. Peter felt the wisp of air swirling down the corridor. Time seemed to slow. Volter's breastplate wrapped around him, the rest of his armor appearing down his arms and legs. Runes and lines lit up as they connected and locked into place, pieces of a single deadly puzzle. Maya drew a falchion and moved behind him. No time for the shield. Peter drew his spear from his storage medallion as he circulated his mana through the channels into his body. Time dilated, his senses sharpening, everything heightened to new levels. Get ready. Walter slammed his shoulder into the wall and went through. Room, Walter said in a rising tone that could have also yelled, enemy. Maya burst through, Peter followed. A dozen men wearing identical armor were caught by surprise, ducking and turning to face the wall and horsemen charging them. The room was twice the size of the corridor and 20 meters long, lit by torches hanging from sconces along the wall. One sputtered on the ground where Walter had smashed it, and the wall. Carvings covered the remaining walls. They'd entered in the middle of a room in the midst of the fighters. 2 corridors ran off, one to the right and one to the left. Walter's blade shimmered with a molten edge as he cut through one man's helmet, reversed his grip, and then drove it through the helmet of his fellow. He turned, tearing it free. Essence slammed into Peter, staining his white core with flecks of red. His core's growth entering a new stage spread through his channels, too small to contain the power. Like burning roots, they expanded and spread through his body, changing him as his strength and speed took another step up. Maya yelled, hacking through one man's neck, sweeping the leg of another, her blade ending them. Walter moved with deadly efficiency. Maya practically danced through them. Only this morning Peter had died. By midday he had made a deal with the devil, and now he was reborn. All that had passed quickly as if in a dream, things he barely had control over. He might not be good at dying and wasn't intending to update that skill, nor was he good with contracts or dealing. But fighting, he was good at fighting. Peter landed. 2 short jabs brought recovering fighters low. Their mana slammed into his channels, recovering what he'd expended. The third got his blade out. Peter grinned, smacking a blade away, and drove the spearhead through the attacker's throat, turning and tearing it out. Spinning his spear, he cracked another man's knee. A jerk and the spear came back, a thrust and it went through the man's eye. Mana refilled him, essence empowered him. It wasn't just from those he was killing, but those they were all killing. Peter's mana kept him fresh and alert as he adapted to the increased strength and reaction speed. He trained himself to sip at his mana, flaring it in the most necessary moves. Now he had an abundance. He eagerly and lazily enhanced all his actions, needed to keep up with these bastards. They were strong, but they were reliant on their strength over their technique. Maya, Desari, and Walter's skills were honed well past what Peter expected. God, it's nice to deal with professionals. His core filled halfway with red, no longer just flecks, but a solid growing color bordered by white. Like roots or veins, his channel spread again. Peter let out a yell, relishing it as he kicked a man's knee, breaking it. He jabbed at the opening between helmet and shoulder pauldron. The shakes and shudders were getting worse, dust falling from the seams and the ceiling. He charged down the hall that ended in a wall. Essence and mana flowed as he dropped to the ground. The defender started turning and backing up. Demons! One yelled out. Peter rushed forward, using the panic and fear to his advantage. The other horsemen added their own attacks. The defenders didn't stand a chance. Peter whirled around, blood painting his armor, his spear, the walls and floor. Desari flicked her sword, sheathing it and withdrawing a purple book. Can't even form a proper spell weave. White flames burned Maya's sword clean as she slid it back into its scabbard. That feels better. She drew 2 of the tube-looking weapons. Peter opened his mouth to speak as the edges of his white core turned red. Like water across dead ground, his channels expanded a third time, much stronger than the first 2. They'd extended through his chest, down his arms, and now at the third expansion they expanded, reaching the edge of his skin and running through his hands. They said the entire time that they were filled with Yasin's essence. Peter scoffed. A whole new world was opening in front of him. Have to ask the others later. Magic, something that only her paladins could use, was within his grasp. And time. Whoops. You're muted, bitch.
You're good. Sorry.
Yes, I also, Paul, I read A Whole New World. I read it there, and
A whole new world.
yeah.
Catching up with comments.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Uh, how far were we from the end? Oh, only another 14 pages.
Yep. It's always the way.
Oh.
I could see the precision of thought there. Right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna grab another drink. I will be right
Oh
back.
no,
Is that
sorry. It
okay?
was just I'm just getting told that no, I didn't actually buy the throw blanket. So it means that my friend bought something else. I'm just trying to figure out what she bought. Anyway,
This man got me scared to death. Song switch. Throwing them out.
so
Right.
but yeah. So it's you could probably tell that I was a little bit disjointed at the start, trying to like, figure out who's saying what's going on, where are we, stuff like this. And then for the battle I was able to pick up tempo and I was like, okay, yeah, this flows.
Yeah.
And that probably showed in my voice because I was able to read it quickly because it's very, very accessible. And it's very, very good. I would have thought that be a man.
There's Dan Bassick. He does a cover for Mulan, and he does a lot of covers, and he does like power metal really well. Awesome redos.
But the there
Hold
is
your breath. It gets better. Okay, sorry.
so the one of the things I was going to say to you is like you had brought up Star Wars before when we were talking about music. And there is a song that I think it is a fucking crime that it was a parody of an abridged version of Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to look up the song The Last Laser Master. And it is
I think I probably know this.
it's amazing. Whatever you've done with your settings, we can no longer hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes, you can't listen to music and talk to me at the same time.
Hmm?
Yes, you can't listen to music and talk to me at the same time.
I'm a very one-track human person.
I can tell why you do not try and write multiple series at the same time.
Yeah, it's a terrible time. Oh, this is okay. It's an interesting voice that they've got going on. But it's also the thing of like, it's so techno. It's
And
so techno.
it turns, yeah, it like, did you skip into it a bit?
What, like a minute in?
Yeah, go for
Wow.
it.
It is just Anakin spinning like he is a fucking fidget.
How dare you? It's
He's
not
just
Anakin. It is it's Mark Hamill. So it's Luke Skywalker.
okay. Like I guess, yeah.
But yeah, it's a very fun song. Highly recommend.
Okay, yeah, no, it is Mark Hamill. Yeah, sorry. I was like watching it, and it was just rapid spinning. I was like, what the fuck is no?
Favorite dog
Oh,
breed?
awesome. You know what? Who is also a very underplayed actor is Ewan McGregor.
Oh, absolutely brilliant.
Just top notch.
Um, I think he'd make a fantastic Quest
Quest?
in Quest Academy.
Okay, what do you mean by this? You
If
make
he
a
was
fan.
to be playing in the movie, I think he would make
Oh,
a brilliant Quest.
yeah, like, hmm.
Or even Neuro.
I would think Neuro because he has that dangerous like edge to him, you know?
Yeah.
Like Quest is like he's very in his head, you know. But yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
who played Bilbo Baggins, the fucking English actor? That was in Martin Freeman. Martin Freeman would be a
Iron
very good
Home.
cast. Hmm? No, in the new trilogy, The Shipment.
Oh,
Martin
yeah.
Freeman.
No, he would be a brilliant Quest, especially because he could play the awkwardness so well.
Yeah.
Him in Sherlock Holmes was amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
Very, very
and
good.
like the best Sherlock Holmes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
With him and Cumberbatch. Oh, mm.
Yeah.
And it was a thing
Dream
of,
casting.
hmm?
Dream casting.
Yes, 100%. Oh, Moulin Rouge is like, it's a lovely show. Lovely show. Timothy.
Big Fish.
Okay.
Yeah. Timothy Oliphant for who? Patrick Stewart's Quest. You can't really do that, Ryan, because of like Charles Xavier.
Yeah, you'd be pulling so much on that.
Now, Timothy Oliphant is a very good actor. But I'd want to give like he would be a good Neuro, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he has that edge and he has played villains.
Oh, you know what though? Okay. Oh. Mm,
Agreed.
So, okay, I'm thinking of you know who, okay, so you have her as the lady who runs a guild, a hunter's guild,
Villa.
and Villa, okay, yeah. Villa, oh, you know, okay, so you know the new Star Trek movies, right?
Yes.
So she plays Allura on that. You know who I'm
Allura
talking
is
about?
yes, Gamora.
Ye- yes. So her, I would have as Villa, because that would be an amazing matchup, especially because she has that carefree and then instantly dangerous.
Yeah. No, that could absolutely work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be really cool.
I think Divinity would be the hardest one to cast. Chloe Moretz, is that the one from Kick-Ass?
Mm.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I could see that.
yeah. Oh, do you know what? I think it would be kind of wild. I could
Hmm.
see Saoirse Ronan as upgrade.
How do you spell it?
Saoirse.
One more
Sao
time. Yeah.
Saoirse.
You know what? I think that would be better because of the gravitas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But like, I'm on, like, how much heavy hitters could you get? Like, imagine Timothy Chalamet and fucking Saoirse Ronan.
The thing is like, well, think about tomorrow. Tomorrow, um,
Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow with Emily Blunt and
Tom Cruise.
the thing that they've had the biggest problem is their conflicts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's so tricky to actually get them all to work together because they're just like, oh well, we're doing all of it. Uh, Okay, Paul, it's only weird if they're looking at you funny because they don't understand. You're okay. You'll survive. But no, the Sister in Expanse is upgrade. Oh, you know what though? I have to say, I think the Expanse is the best sci-fi TV show that we've had, like realistic sci-fi TV show.
Yeah, it's really fun thinking about this.
Sister though.
I know I looked her up and I was like, I don't know.
If people look at you funny in Walmart, you're one of the people of Walmart.
I think I need to watch The Expanse, man.
Oh no, you definitely do. Like it is, like you'll watch it. Like Ted Lasso is a great show. So to everyone else, the two of us have been watching Ted Lasso. Brian is a consistent binger. I am a new to the scene kind of situation, and The Expanse is if you like science fiction, do it right now. There's no
So
holds barred.
I think I got through about 5 episodes or something,
Yeah,
and then I put it down.
The
Um,
Expanse.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
I had
understandable.
the character I really liked is the one that played Frank Castle in the shitty Punisher movie. Um,
Seamus.
oh, who was Frank Castle?
You cannot put in Frank Castle, the who's in who played the shitty Frank Castle one.
Yeah. Fuck. Punisher 2004 was Thomas Jane.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting because Thomas Jane plays such an important role in a couple of the books.
He has
And
that
like,
little fedora and
yeah.
yeah. But oh yeah, the John Bernthal one was way better. Like I like that
Yeah.
is my favorite Punisher. Um, but I do always have a soft spot for the 2004 one.
Which one? Who was in 2004?
It was Thomas Jane. That was him in 2004.
Oh, yeah. No, I was like, okay. I was thinking it was like someone else.
And they
But the
had John
2000,
Travolta as the bad guy.
yes. And let's not kid ourselves. That was the best one.
Of the Punisher movies?
Yeah.
Sure. Because what other ones did we get?
No, but
Um,
it was also like I'll I'll be honest. Like, hey, Kyle.
hey, Kyle.
Yeah, yeah. We're stuck with one another at this point. So how do you feel
I feel
about
really
this TV show?
so Iron Fist. I really liked the backstory and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, this is Marvel's Oliver Queen. Cool. As in, like,
Yep,
the
yep,
fucking
yep.
billionaire son, gets lost and trains up to come back and is gonna like clean up the city with his Iron Fist and Shaolin fucking techniques. Stephen Lang. Wait a second.
Oh, Avatar.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No. I'm going to say no on that because Graham McTavish is Professor Sinclair.
Well. Oh yeah, yeah,
So Graham McTavish
yeah.
is Dijkstra in the Witcher series. And he
Yes.
is just brilliant.
Also, highly underrated actor.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, Graham McTavish I think would be a very good one because he could also really play into the northern English kind of vibe. Because he'd know it well.
Yes. And it's also like the way that you've set up banter and the way that they are, it would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Of like he would understand it, right? Like there's no kind of developmental running into it, right?
Absolutely. But yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, Ben Affleck, not so good.
That did not go down smooth for you. It's crested. Come on.
And also, like Elektra. No, don't put Jennifer Garner as Elektra. But no.
Hmm.
No, you see the thing is one of the hardest ones to cast for me, I think, would be Divinity.
I think Chloe Moretz was actually a very good.
Yeah. You see, with Khan now, obviously, like anyone can choose whatever ethnicity that they, assign to a character, unless I've stated it as something. But I had always kind of seen Divinity as Middle Eastern American. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah. And it is hard because okay, so like with the Expanse, they had the actual writers were writing the script, so it allowed them to kind of work it perfectly. It's hard with like okay, you have such a picture in your head of like making it work, kind of thing. Yeah, no, the
New favorite for Quest because of you, Damien. Fantastic Four was shit. However, Julian McMahon, who was Balthazar and Charmed, and he was also in Nip Tuck, he would be a very good Quest.
oh, you know what? 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Holy shit, Zendaya. Zendaya as Divinity. I'm fucking 100% on board.
Yeah.
That is very fucking good, Jodan. Very good shout. And yes, would I consider Tom Holland as fucking Sam?
Yeah, no,
Is my
I was just
immediate.
gonna say, yeah. That was what I was gonna. I was
If
like,
he got a little taller, but that's never gonna happen.
that's okay.
Like if it was a younger Andrew Garfield, yes. But I don't like Andrew Garfield. Well, Tom Holland would make a very good Barry, but he's never going to fucking take on that sort of role. Because it's not a front and center role. I am absolutely going to Google for that one, Dimmy.
Oh, no. She is the lady in the Expanse who runs everything and like such a powerhouse. Like, oh, like such a good actress. Like
Could you
she
imagine
is.
her as Villa?
Oh, she would take Villa and crush it in her hands. You would make Villa so much more of a pertinent person because it is like she's
Oh, I
like,
know her voice
oh,
immediately. So I'm guessing that I know exactly who she is. Now
she runs the Expanse. Like when you watch the Expanse, oh,
I can hear her
and
voice in my
I
head,
just
and I'm just trying to
realized,
figure
yeah.
out if she was in Heroes at any point. Because I can hear her voice.
Oh, that's been a while since I've seen Heroes.
Also,
Sorry, I just have to wade
another
through the.
Another contender for Nero would be Hugh Laurie. But he's too old, I know. But still, I just love Hugh Laurie.
You know what the thing is like everyone forgets that Hugh Laurie is a comedian.
Yeah.
Like Blackadder, right? Like,
oh, I love that the two most famous roles that the Blackadder cast are known for is Mr. Bean and Dr. Gregory House. And that Blackadder is literally the inverse of those personalities, of how it is literally the laughable idiot.
It's diametrically opposite. And it is beautiful because it's just like the upassery of it all.
Zachary Quinto, Jodan, is Silas, and very, very good. Very good villain. Oh, like Spock. He was also Spock in the new Star Trek movies.
Yes, yeah.
So he'd be very, very good. Geneva's probably telling us to wrap the fuck up. No, she's just taking her puppy out. That's totally fine. But yeah. So, what about the casting for the Ancient One? Is that from one of your books?
That's not me.
Do I have an Ancient One?
I don't know. Who is this? Who said Ancient One? Are we the Ancient Ones?
Paul, can you clarify that one for us, please?
Paul. Sorry, just going through the chats right here.
Yeah. Heroes was a very good show. Season 1 was brilliant. I always really liked the villainous guy that could turn everything into gold. Terrence something. He was in Tank Girl, which was my favorite role with him. It was such a stupid movie, and I loved it.
God.
Gotcha, Paul. Yeah, no, it's like great. Like Marvel has given us a fantastic roster of celebrities just to like pick and choose from. Like if there was like no budgetary constraints, Jude Law would also be a fantastic either Neuro or Quest. I know.
Jude Law is just chef's kiss.
I think he would actually be a much better Neuro for the range Neuro has in book 2 and beyond.
The thing is that
Who would we get to play the Chatfield character?
Well, you know what? You'd probably go for
Chris Hemsworth.
What's his name? No. That's
Zac Efron.
Good God. No, Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang? No, Chatfield is like mid-20s, early 30s.
You can push it.
Rowan.
No! Good God. Thank you, Jimmy, for wounding me internally. Wow, Joe Dan, I didn't see Zac Efron there. But like otherwise, West Chatham, also from
how do I spell West Chatham?
Expense. WES space Chatham.
HAM.
CHATHAM.
Oh.
Also, like when you get into the Expanse, you're just gonna be like, this guy's awesome. Absolutely killing it.
I don't like the overly Hollywood faces, but Stephen Amell could work for you, or like the guy that was Arrow, which is the other Amell, Stephen Amell, I think.
Well, he's Canadian.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? Fuck it. You're Mike Ross. That's who it is. Patrick J. Adams.
Oh. No, but I don't know if he could pull off a serious.
Felton,
especially
yes.
in that situation.
Draco Malfoy is fucking Tom Felton. Could be a good shout for Chatfield.
Okay, yeah. No, I understand that one. Everyone in the Expanse is top notch. I 100% agree. I wish the series had gone longer, but I understand that the series ended where it did. Sorry, I turned this way because I have the series up here. Great series, but yeah.
Okay, the actor from Stranger Things is essentially knockoff Zac Efron, so you're just getting your same request in again.
Yeah. Also,
it's time to wrap up.
Not to be that guy. Shall we wrap up?
I think we shall wrap up. Okay. Anyone, any last questions before we wrap up and let Geneva go to bed? Or like have a life? But he's Australian, lol.
Wish.com, Zach.
Yeah.
Oh, that is some discount. Yeah. I hope so. Are you playing love games with me? We are always playing love games with you.
Showdown, we love you. Like, we'll probably just hop off this and then hop on another call and just invite you to talk shit. But yeah. But look, everyone, it was an absolute pleasure. If you do put in any questions that we see later, we will answer them on the next first reads, whenever that may be. But yes, to finish up as well, Quest Academy Scavengers is up for pre-order at the minute. It is on the 12th of January is when it is released. No word yet on the audiobook front, but it is very, very exciting, and you will be able to read about the biggest asshole character I have written yet, and his name is Captain Chatfield. He is a dickhead, and he is
so bad.
Yeah. He was the captain. He's like super self-absorbed. Was really delighted with how the pre-order has been received so far. It's a #1 new release. And I was looking at it going like, why though? You can't read it yet. So delighted with it so far, and like just overwhelmed with the support Quest Academy has been getting. So thank you so much. Michael, would you like to tell us a little bit more, like Captain Zap Brannigan? A little bit more competent. He's more like Kif.
God. So yeah, we've got the 10 realms. Sorry. Wow. I am so used to the 10 realms. We have a completely new series. 4 Horsemen is coming out on we are planning for the 19th, and it's going to be on the website, and then it's going to be for subscribers. And then in January, we are going to open that up to everyone else. But the 4 Horsemen, brand new series. We've been chatting about a bit of it here amongst our randomness. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Like, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you, Brian, for hosting. It's great because I get to bug him because we're friends, as you may have noticed. But yes, it is absolute debauchery and craziness. But thank you, everyone, for showing up. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your support. And I hope you have a fantastic night, day, morning, wherever you may be.
But before we wrap up, you just said subscribers will have access. Subscribers of what, Michael?
So we're on Patreon right now. So if you are subscribing to Patreon, you will get full access to the book without paying anything extra over there right now. Well, not right now. In 10 days, it's going to be awesome. I hope you enjoy it. We're super excited for it.
Wonderful. Well, look, then it has been an absolute pleasure, everyone. And I guess we can now do the awkward wave for a long period of time as Geneva cuts us off. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.